On August 20th, 2024, a thunderclap reverberated across the globe. Black Myth: Wukong, hailed as China's first AAA game masterpiece and developed by Game Science, officially launched. In less than 4 days, sales across all platforms surpassed 10 million, with global concurrent players soaring to 3 million. Within a week of its release, total sales across all platforms reached an astounding 15 million, shattering multiple historical records. AAA games, typically referring to high-quality, large-scale productions that demand substantial time and resources, have long been dominated by Japanese and Western studios. However, Black Myth: Wukong burst onto the scene with earth-shattering impact, surpassing the first-week sales of international AAA juggernauts like Elden Ring, Cyberpunk 2077, and Baldur's Gate 3. Black Myth: Wukong constructs a vast and exquisitely crafted adventure world where players embody a destined one in pursuit of ancient legends. The game's visuals are breathtaking, while its combat and level design are equally noteworthy, garnering both critical acclaim and commercial success. Black Myth: Wukong has not only ignited a frenzy within China, but has also sparked a China wave in overseas markets. Even China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has weighed in on the phenomenon. Beyond the gaming industry, Black Myth: Wukong has recently become a focal point in entertainment, business, and society at large. Yet, the company behind this milestone game, Game Science, is a little-known team of just over 100 people. The journey to enlightenment is more significant than reaching the destination. This is a tale of ideals, perseverance, and breakthrough, a culmination of over a decade of accumulation, refinement, and explosion in China's gaming industry. Feng Ji, the producer of Black Myth: Wukong, founder and CEO of Game Science, is the driving force behind this internet-breaking game. Born in Hubei in 1982, Feng was introduced to gaming consoles by his parents at an early age. Later, he was admitted to the prestigious Huazhong University of Science and Technology, majoring in biomedical engineering. During his college years, as long as his grades weren't an issue, his parents didn't interfere with his gaming passion. Just as he was preparing for his postgraduate entrance exams, World of Warcraft launched its public beta in China. Without hesitation, Feng abandoned his studies. To indulge in gaming, he spent long hours in internet cafes, exhausting his exam preparation funds within 3 months. With the help of his roommates, he persevered for another 8 months before financial constraints forced him to seek employment. It was this passion for gaming that opened the doors to the industry for him. Feng joined a game company as a game designer, adopting the online moniker Yokar, also known as Director Ka. This was the era when online games were all the rage. NetEase founder Ding Lei once jokingly remarked, "Operating online games is like making money while sleeping in bed." In 2007, Feng penned a 10,000-word article titled, "Who Murdered Our Games?" criticizing the state of the gaming industry. His words were fierce, describing capital as the dark force and portraying himself as a youngster whose conscience hasn't been entirely consumed by darkness. The article concluded with, "The road ahead is long, the wind is treacherous, and evil energy permeates the air." Feng firmly believed that in the gaming industry, profit should not take precedence over quality. The young Feng was reminiscent of the Monkey King from Journey to the West, possessing extraordinary skills and defying the world. Feng's subsequent life trajectory would further mirror Sun Wukong's. A journey to the West, overcoming 81 tribulations, and ultimately becoming the victorious fighting Buddha. The year after publishing his article, Feng joined Tencent, becoming the lead designer for Azura. Azura was a game based on the Journey to the West theme. Feng and his team poured their hearts into this project, spending 5 years on its development. At the time, Tencent intended to make it a representative self-developed work, thus providing the most resources. The preparation time was 2 to 3 times that of regular products. Although the game received positive reviews upon its initial release, it ultimately proved to be a flash in the pan. After a few chapters, the game quality deteriorated significantly. Moreover, considering the investment costs, the game eventually succumbed to the pay-to-win model, drawing player criticism and disappointing financial returns. The Azura team even released a self-deprecating short film titled just love to criticize game designers, with Feng himself making an appearance. In the video, due to poor game design, Feng is chased and cornered by players, hiding in an abandoned factory, only to be found and beaten up. The final shot shows him crouching, disheveled and bruised, clutching a bowl of instant noodles. Regardless, Feng realized he couldn't stay true to himself in a big corporation. Meanwhile, 2014 marked the explosion of mobile gaming. In June 2014, Feng, along with 6 former colleagues from Tencent, founded Game Science, hoping to create game works that truly move them. The company name Game Science is quite meaningful. Feng explained, "Before establishing Game Science, we felt that the gaming industry in China was far from being considered a science. Instead, it was filled with various success theories reverse-engineered from current successful products. The Game Science team believed that gaming, like other industries, is a rigorous discipline of 99% diligence and 1% inspiration. Great games aren't randomly spawned. They're meticulously researched and deliberated." Another core member of the Game Science team is Yang Qi, Feng's partner from his Tencent days. Yang graduated from the China Academy of Art with a degree in oil painting, later joining Tencent's Quantum Studio to co-develop Azura with Feng, primarily responsible for art and concept design. Feng candidly admitted that the biggest external drive for leaving their jobs at the time was witnessing the explosion of mobile games. It was an opportunity we couldn't miss. But he later also said, "We all knew we would eventually make single-player games, but we always felt the timing and funding weren't mature enough, so we kept waiting." In an interview with Xinhua News Agency, Feng mentioned, "8 years ago, we firmly believed that there would definitely be a single-player game market in China, and it would be huge. You can see it in other entertainment markets, most typically in films. In recent years, if you just pull up some data, you can see that the top 10 box office movies are quietly changing. We're seeing meticulously produced Chinese films rapidly eating into this list. However, creating a high-quality single-player game requires extremely high development costs. For instance, God of War, Ragnarok, which Feng personally considers to represent the industry's highest technical level, had a development cost of $200 million, or about 1.5 billion yuan. Therefore, to realize their dream, they first had to make money, survive, and accumulate capital for their ultimate goal. In 2015 and 2017, Game Science launched the card game 100 Heroes and the real-time strategy game Art of War, Red Tides, respectively. The strategy for both games was the same. Find the most popular mobile game genre in the market, then add top-notch art, worldview, and story. What Feng referred to earlier as success theory. While these 2 games weren't massive hits, they achieved respectable success. Art of War, Red Tides received a global simultaneous recommendation from Apple's App Store and was the first Chinese-made game publicly experienced by Apple CEO Tim Cook during his visit to China. More importantly, it helped Game Science secure a 60 million yuan investment from Hero Entertainment. Regarding when to start making single-player games, Yang Qi had long advised Feng to begin. Yang once told the media that he felt they couldn't continue making games like this for many more years. Their bodies couldn't handle it. A person's creative life is limited, and if they didn't create something good during their most precious time, they might never have the chance again. Feng, however, thought they could make one more mobile game to earn some more money and have more confidence. Yang argued, "If we wait until everything is ready before we start, we'll never be ready." In fact, Feng also felt at the time that making money quickly with success theory games wasn't that exciting, stating, "I don't really want to play the game we've made." Later, when Feng dug out the business plan he wrote before, he found that a third of it was about single-player games. Thinking back to his 10,000-word article from 10 years ago and his gaming ideals, he wondered if they should wait until they had a 1,000-person team and hundreds of millions of dollars in funding like big international companies before starting. The turning point came in February 2018. During a late-night partners meeting, Feng proposed 3 development paths: go all out to make a single-player action game, continue making mobile games, or split into 2 teams to do both simultaneously. The team chose the third option. Subsequently, Black Myth, Wukong was initiated, with the project codenamed B1, short for Black Myth 1, indicating the first product in the Black Myth series. Game Science traveled across multiple provinces in China, conducting on-site surveys of ancient architecture and cultural relics for high-fidelity reproduction. This approach not only enhanced the game's visual effects, but also strengthened its cultural foundation. The team also invested heavily in motion capture, sound design, and other aspects to create a high-quality gaming experience. For instance, they set up a dedicated motion capture area in their office for preliminary inertial motion capture. Technologically, Black Myth: Wukong incorporates advanced techniques including Unreal Engine 5, spatial computing positioning capture, full-scene ray tracing, and image enhancement. The game engine, in particular, posed a challenge. The team previously mainly used Coco's and Unity engines, but Black Myth: Wukong required the more powerful Unreal Engine to achieve realistic, high-quality graphics. Everyone had to learn new technology from scratch. They also spent considerable time experimenting with and optimizing basic functions, hit feedback, AI, and combo feel. Game Science also created several original technologies, such as the Game Science Motion Capture Efficiency Improvement System, Game Science Motion Capture Collaboration System, Game Science Art Asset Navigation Platform, and Game Science AI Experimental System. Game Science's growth was inseparable from capital support. In March 2021, Tencent acquired a 5% stake in Game Science through a subsidiary, with an estimated investment exceeding 200 million yuan. Notably, when accepting Tencent's investment, Feng raised two key questions: whether Tencent would interfere with product decisions and daily operations, and whether they would take away the product's distribution and operation rights. He only accepted the investment after receiving negative answers to both questions. Speaking of Tencent's investment, we must mention Game Science's stunning debut on Bilibili, the Chinese version of YouTube. On August 20th, 2020, the first trailer for Black Myth: Wukong, a 13-minute gameplay demo titled Game Science's new work, Black Myth: Wukong 13-minute in-game demo, was released on Bilibili. Feng said in an interview, "We thought internally that 500,000 views for this video would be great, but it ended up exceeding our initial expectation by 100 times. 50 million views. Consider that Bilibili has a total of 300 million active users. Watching the gorgeous visuals and smooth gameplay, people couldn't believe this was a Chinese game." These 13 minutes presented not just a game preview, but a cry of idealism. The day before the game trailer was released, Game Science posted a teaser poster on Weibo, the Chinese version of Twitter, with the caption, "Once I was so old, now I am in my prime." Beyond attracting capital, the main purpose of the first trailer was actually recruitment, especially of top talent. Zhao Wenyong, a key member of Game Science, once responded on Jihu, a Chinese Q&A platform, "We released the video to prove that our team is capable of doing this and that it's worth joining us." Game Science also demonstrated strong project management skills. From the first public game video in 2020 to the official release in 2024, the team largely maintained their initial game design concept without major changes or complete overhauls. This stability is rare in long-cycle game development. Feng once stated, "For us, making our first buy-to-play single-player game, completion is more important than perfection." This pragmatic attitude played a crucial role in the smooth progress of the project. The development team for Black Myth: Wukong gradually expanded from the initial 13 people to 49 in 2021, and reached 140 by the project's completion in 2024. Feng revealed that the development cost per hour of gameplay experience was about 15 to 20 million yuan, with the total development cost reaching around 400 million yuan. Unlike mobile games and other online games, single-player games are one-time purchases rather than based on continuous in-game consumption like buying skins or items. The familiar cash cow Honor of Kings is a representative of the latter category. Single-player games require years of development, with sales at launch full of uncertainties. The willingness to invest 400 million yuan long-term in such a project was extremely rare in the Chinese gaming industry at the time. From its viral popularity in 2020 to its official launch in 2024, Black Myth: Wukong carried countless expectations and doubts about whether it could be completed. Feng and the Game Science team used abundant game content, numerous boss battles, and unparalleled artistic presentation to once again exceed everyone's expectations 4 years later. Black Myth: Wukong recouped its costs with less than a day's worth of sales. As China's first AAA game, Black Myth, Wukong demonstrated game science's craftsmanship in multiple aspects. In terms of theme selection, the game is set against the backdrop of the traditional Chinese myth Journey to the West. Feng explained that this choice stemmed from the team's love for the subject. He believed that good cultural products should naturally appeal first to local audiences with similar cultural backgrounds to the creators, and if the quality is high enough, it will naturally spread overseas. For the art style, Black Myth, Wukong chose a realistic approach. This choice brought enormous challenges, as realistic style requires everything in the game to align with players' daily experiences, constantly simulating the physical world. This placed high demands on game performance and required technology. Looking at cultural elements, the game incorporates a wealth of traditional Chinese architecture, sculptures, and other visual elements, along with many characters and concepts from Chinese mythology. For instance, unique characters like 2D Gong Gong, Earth God, appear in the game. The game also incorporates elements with strong Chinese characteristics, such as Shangxi storytelling, further enhancing its cultural depth. Targeting the international market, Game Science also put considerable thought into localization strategies. They recognized that some Chinese cultural concepts are difficult to express directly in Western languages, so they adopted a flexible approach. For some unique Chinese cultural concepts like Wukong and Jin Gu Bang, Golden Cudgel, they chose to use pinyin or transliteration to preserve the authentic Chinese elements. For concepts that are harder to understand, like 2D Gong Gong, they attempted to find similar concepts in Western culture as substitutes, such as using the term keeper. In terms of gameplay design, Black Myth, Wukong absorbed design ideas from recent Soul-like action-adventure games represented by Dark Souls, Sekiro, and God of War 4, but didn't completely copy them. The Game Science team strived to maintain their own characteristics while learning from excellent works. For example, they abandoned weapon parrying and instead used uniquely Chinese concepts like copper head iron arm. Over 7 years, a team of 140 people, starting from scratch, completed the work of over 1,000 people in mature overseas teams. This feat is not just Game Science's solo performance, but the result of countless craftsmen in China's gaming industry working together. In the end credits of Black Myth, Wukong, there are 28 names under special thanks, including Tencent Group Senior Vice President Ma Xiaoyi, presidents of several major Tencent studio groups, and personnel from companies like NetEase, MiHoYo, and Lilith Games. Some netizens excitedly pointed out after completing the game that this is the first AAA game they've played where the list of behind-the-scenes personnel is entirely Chinese. All the cutscenes in the game were outsourced to the best animation studios in China. Dozens of top Chinese artists, designers, audio workers, and 3D special effects workers were involved in the game development. It's worth mentioning that all the original songs in Black Myth, Wukong, were personally written by Feng Ji. The successful release of Black Myth, Wukong not only marks China's entry into the AAA era but also opens up new avenues for Chinese culture to go global. Particularly for the Chinese gaming industry, Black Myth, Wukong proves that Chinese game development teams are fully capable of producing AAA titles on par with international standards, injecting confidence into the entire industry. However, industry insiders also point out that the success of Black Myth, Wukong, may be difficult to replicate widely in the short term. The technical challenges and talent shortages encountered by the Game Science team during development remain common issues facing the entire industry. Especially in areas like project management and creative expression, experience needs time to accumulate and settle. The fact that single-player games are high investment and high risk remains unchanged. Moreover, Black Myth, Wukong is not perfect, with issues in level design, invisible walls, lag, frame drops, and various small bugs. According to the global game rating website Metacritic, as of August 19th, 54 global media outlets gave Black Myth, Wukong an average score of 82, which is high but not top tier. In comparison, Baldur's Gate 3 scored 96, Elden Ring 96, Grand Theft Auto 5 97, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 97. But Black Myth, Wukong still deserves our admiration, support, and emulation. When, after generations of struggle, a village finally produces a college graduate, we shouldn't withhold our praise just because they didn't get into Tsinghua, Peking, Harvard, or Yale. Undeniably, the enormous success of Black Myth, Wukong, also owes something to luck, but perhaps this is the reward for these practical idealists' unwavering determination. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Let's look forward to the birth of more Black Myths. Finally, I'd like to quote a passage from Feng's interview with Xinhua News Agency. There's a saying that what ultimately pains you is not the distant mountain, but the sand in your shoes. The sand is endless, but if you want to reach that mountain, you have to endure this process. You recognize this, and that's great. Isn't that what we're supposed to recognize? Embarking on the journey to enlightenment is more important than reaching the destination.